Good morning. Please be seated. Members of the class of 2023, faculty and staff, distinguished guests, families, and friends, welcome to the 168th commencement ceremony for Washington and Lee University. We gather this morning to celebrate the achievements of our graduates and to share their excitement about the future that awaits them. This ceremony marks the beginning of a new chapter in the life of each graduate, and just as surely it marks the ending of another. This most recent chapter has been a doozy. When you arrived in the fall of 2020, the pandemic was in full swing. Your first year of law school was like none that has come before it. Yet you persevered through everything to conquer your classes, your clinics, and your exams, to reinstitute the venerable Law School Football League, and to go out in style today. The experience of the class of 23 has been historic, yet you also share much with the law graduates who have come before you. W&L has shaped you as individuals and as a class. Together you've studied, argued, and developed the habits of mind that characterize good lawyers. You've made lasting friendships that will give you pleasure and support wherever you may go. Before you set out on your different paths, I want you to savor your final moments together this morning here on this historic campus that has been your home. Our law school, your law school, is the 16th oldest in the United States. Its origins reflect the long and lasting connections between the university and the community in which we live. Lexington Law School was founded in 1849 by Judge John Brockenbrough, a local lawyer and federal judge. It operated out of a building on the corner of Nelson and Jefferson Streets that now houses the Palms, which is a delicious irony I'm sure you can appreciate. The law school was incorporated into Washington College in 1866. For most of its long history, the law school was located here on the colonnade, which was not only the heart of campus, it was the entire campus in the 19th century. And Tucker Hall, just over your left shoulders, which is named for John Tucker, who served as Attorney General of Virginia and as a United States Congressman before becoming Dean of the Law School in 1893, was the home of the law school from 1900 to 1976. It contains the two-story library in which Supreme Court Justice Lewis Powell, several American Bar Association presidents, and many other distinguished alumni received their education. Crossing the ravine to Lewis Hall in 1977, the law school was at the forefront of the university's expansion onto back campus. And as undergraduates followed your lead across Woods Creek, the law school again became geographically central, reflecting its historical and contemporary significance to Washington and Lee. The tradition of excellence at the Washington and Lee School of Law stretches backward more than 150 years, but it also aspires ever forward in keeping with our motto, non incautus futuri, not unmindful of the future. You all are a part of this tradition. Take W&L, the place and the people and the lessons you have learned with you into the world, and the world will be better for it. I congratulate you, and I now call upon Dean Melanie Wilson to continue the ceremony.
Class of 2023, congratulations. I join with every member of this university in celebrating you and your incredible achievements. Indeed, what a privilege and what a great honor it is for me to be here and stand here today as your dean to celebrate this class. Before I share a few thoughts of my own with you, I want to take a minute just to make a few thank yous. First, a thank you to our entire platform party, especially to our distinguished law commencement speaker, Justice Cleo Powell, who you'll hear from in just a few minutes. And graduates, this is definitely your day, of course. But this 3-year law journey was not one that you took alone. We should thank your parents, your grandparents, your spouses, your partners, children, siblings, and other relatives and beloved friends. For the past 3 years, these people have celebrated your wins. They have consoled you through rough patches and disappointments. Without their encouragement, be it moral, emotional, and sometimes, as you know, financial, the road you've had, the road you've taken, would have been significantly more difficult. Whether they are here today in our audience celebrating with you or here in spirit celebrating from a distance, please join me in thanking your biggest supporters, your family, and your biggest fans. Family, friends, have you wondered why you have not won a single argument with these graduates during the last 3 years? That's due in large part to my faculty colleagues who are out here in the front rows on the right-hand side. Our accomplished, talented, and dedicated faculty have taught these graduates to question your reasoning, to anticipate your thoughts and your arguments, to verify every fact, and to analyze all sides of an issue. In essence, in 3 short years, they have taught these graduates to think like lawyers. We are incredibly fortunate at W&L Law to have an exceptionally talented group of faculty who care deeply about the success, the well-being, the personal and professional growth of every student. And importantly, we enjoy a dedicated team of staff who support our educational mission and help us build and protect our special community. These faculty, these staff, they have shared their knowledge, their expertise, their time, and most of all, their passion with our graduates. And so graduates, I ask that you join me in recognizing the faculty, the administration, and their staff for their commitment to you. I look out at you and I feel a tremendous warmth and happiness for every single one of you. This class personifies tenacity, but also compassion. As President Dudley just mentioned, you all began your law school in unparalleled times. Like all law students, you were challenged to understand how to read a case critically and how to distinguish dicta from holding. But in some ways, that was the least of your worries. You had to navigate those time-honored challenges while in the thick of COVID, in masks, sometimes on Zoom. The first year, and to a lesser extent the second, did not offer the customary close-knit in-person community of Lewis Hall, complete with the SBA parties, the Friday football on the lawn, barrister's ball, in-person symposia, study groups, competitions, and dinners. In fact, as I recall, your 1L orientation was outside under the law school breezeway. But you persevered, as President Dudley said, and indeed, you have thrived. I was happy this year, your third offered everything that W&L Law is known for. We watched with great enthusiasm and satisfaction as you embraced all of it with great positivity. You hosted so many exceptional events and brought your energy to so many others. I'm reminded of the successful symposium celebrating 50 years of women at W&L Law, hosted by our Women Law Students organization under the leadership of Christina Fallon and Caroline Kerr. I was grateful for the collaboration between my office and the Black Law Students Association, led by Kobe Crosley, to host the annual Leslie Smith Lecture that this year brought to W&L Philip Hirschkopf, the civil rights icon who argued Loving versus Virginia. I think about the 2022 Law Review Student Notes Colloquium under the leadership of Alicia Oxner-Utt that featured the work of Laura Morris and Brenna Rosen. And of course, the Journal of Civil Rights and Social Justice Symposium attracted so many nationally known speakers. In the symposium process, I learned that no one, and I mean no one, can work a budget for a gathering like Sidney Clark, Peyton Holohan, and Mally Kostroff. One of my favorite events was the murder mystery evening that so many of you participated in. And those costumes, as with everything this class does, you brought it. Whether it was Bridget O'Donoghue's Western hat that lit up, which I'm not sure had anything to do with her costume, which was an astronaut, or Jessica Matsuda's portrayal of an ER doctor in full medical scrubs. Then there was Natalie Corbin, the owner of the local skating rink. How could likable Natalie so effectively play a character that was universally hated. I was super thankful that all of you also indulged me and brought your energy and competitive spirit to our inaugural law school field day. I'm still investigating, just so you know, why all of the most athletic people were on the green team and why you had twice as many people on the team as, say, the blue team that I was on. But that's an issue for another day, and perhaps the statute of limitations is run on that. I really appreciated that you were not dissuaded from the blow-up obstacle course by a few skinned knees and a little bit of grass stain on the clothing. I also think about how so many of you served as Courageous Fellows, you mentored, you guided, and you supported 1Ls. And this year's head Courageous Fellows, Leadon Rickstalis and Kobe Crosley, who provided direction for the next generation of fellows. I love that many of you, and I'm thinking of you, Zach Zimmerman, gathered on weekends for coffee, collegiality, and intellectual debates. Others took weekend trips to Seasons Yield Farm. Still others engaged in days of service to the community, including volunteering with Rah Rah Food Bank. And how much fun did we have in February at Heliotrope during Boss's Trivia Night? Did any of you know that Breonna Jefferson could sing and dance like that? I mean, she has moves. Think about how many prospective and admitted students Kat Spencer has hosted over the course of the last 2 years as law ambassador assistant. And a huge thank you goes to all the graduating law ambassadors who ensured that visitors to W&L Law and to our campus learned all of the wonderful things that we have to offer. I'm talking to you, Connor Donaldson, Katie Ferguson, Ben Halligan, Peyton Holohan, Molly O'Connell, Bridget O'Donohue, Brenna Rosen, Leadon Rickstalis, Ashley Zimmerman. Adam Kimmelman, Karen Daly, A.K. Sherman, and Lexi Weber made sure that our moot court, our mock trial, our negotiations, our mediation, and our client counseling competitions ran smoothly and all in person this year. Many of you served as Burke Scholars, helping with 1L legal research and 1L legal writing, and as Ratchford Fellows, providing peer counseling for the Office of Career Strategies. Charisma Hunter took time during the very busy and hectic exam season to serve as our impressive student speaker for our Alumni Weekend Benefactors Luncheon. These are a very small number of samples of how the members of this class, the class of 2023, made our community stronger, better, and much more enjoyable. I could go on and on and on about your engagement and about your achievements. Each of you has contributed mightily to our community, and I am so grateful and so, so proud of you. I have no doubt that you're going to take your talents, your legal knowledge, your positivity out into the world and do the same for your new communities. And it's not just talent, it's not just brilliance that you will take, because you will definitely take that. It's also kindness and empathy, decency. These qualities were on full display at the 50 Days to Graduation celebration. I will not soon forget Wade Braden's touching remarks. It was heartwarming to have him thank Natalie Corbin and Jared Dye, who brought him midnight meals while he worked a part-time job overnight in downtown Lexington. Frankly, that's the type of support and affection for each other that I have repeatedly observed over the past year. This class exhibits a rare community spirit mixed with kindness and also tenacity that has allowed you to traverse 3 really tough years under unusual conditions. And that journey makes this day all the more special, particularly given that for some of you, this is your first graduation celebration beyond celebrating in your living room since high school. As I reflect on the class of 2023 and your grit, your determination, your positivity, I'm reminded of a favorite of mine, Inky Johnson. Inky grew up in Atlanta in a 2-bedroom home, 2 bedrooms. He grew up with 15 other people in his family. Many times they had to sleep on the floor on mattresses. He lived for football. And he lived for football because that was his path to a better life for himself and for his family. He earned a scholarship to attend a large public university, the first in his family to attend college. He quickly became a superstar SEC defensive football player. And then in his senior season, he was predicted to go very high in the NFL draft to make his dreams come true. But during a routine tackle in his senior year, Inky suffered a massive brachial plexus injury. It almost ended his life. It certainly ended his football career, and it left his dominant arm in his hand completely paralyzed. And so given his career-ending injury and his lifelong dream to be in the NFL, Inky might have just legitimately felt sorry for himself and taken a very negative outlook on his future. But he did the exact opposite. One of Inky's main themes, which I endorse fully today, do not take life for granted. Inky would say every single day and all that comes with it, highs and lows, successes and failures, tough moments, great moments, all that comes with it. Appreciate it, absorb it. Be grateful for every single day and every single person in your life. We need all of it for our development, and that's my message to you. Soak up today and every day hereafter. Appreciate each other. Reflect with gratitude on every single opportunity and every single challenge that you face. Embrace all of it. Say thank you often. Smile often. Laugh. And as you did last night, dance often. Appreciate every single day. Along the way, dream big, challenge yourself, believe in yourself, and pursue those lofty goals and ambitions that you came to law school to achieve. With a law degree from W&L Law, the possibilities for you are limitless. I wish you great success, a fulfilling career, and most of all, I wish you immense happiness. Now, importantly, to the conferring of the degrees. Members of the law class of 2023, please stand. President Dudley, I have the great honor to present 106 candidates for the Juris Doctor degree. They have been examined by the faculty and approved by the Board of Trustees. They are to be congratulated on their exceptional legal knowledge and preparation, and I ask that you, through your official act, confer upon them their law degrees.
Thank you, Dean Wilson. Upon the recommendation of the faculty and approval by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer the degree of Juris Doctor of Washington and Lee University. Please come forward to receive your diploma as Dean Drumble calls your name. I ask that the audience hold its applause until all graduates have received their diplomas.
Samuel A. Adams, in absentia. Joseph M. Aminov. Virginia Lee Agello. Deborah Erin Bagwell. Caitlin Elaine Barshashevsky. Hope Elizabeth Barnes. Murphy McCullen Bars. John Marshall Branch. Phoebe Marie Brannick. Wade Alexander Braden. Jackson E. Brown. Catherine I. Bolger. Gregory Samuel Capps II. Lorenzo Alberto Carazana. William Mackenzie Chaskis. Sydney Yvonne Clark. John Michael Coffrin. Natalie Ann Corbin. Kobe Justin Crosley. Karen Rose Daly. Devin Marie Davis. Chanel Lorene Dorr. Connor Matthew Donaldson. Jared Christopher Dye. Valeria Espinal. Robert Yielding Ezel. Riley Allison Faith. Christina Jane Fallon. Catherine L. Ferguson. John David Moore Fisher. Turner Ford Gassaway IV. Audrey Chase Gregory. Benjamin Michael Halligan. Madeline Meade Hawkins. Adam Michael Hawks. Sophia Soltis Henderson. Caroline Foster Henschel. Peyton J. Hallahan. Charisma J. Hunter. Christopher Michael Jablonski. Jarvis C. James. Justin S. Jarrett. Dylan S. Jarvis. Brianna Renee Jefferson. John David Keltner. Meredith Ann Keogh. Caroline Jane Barbara Kerr. Matthew A. Kimball. Adam Thomas Kimmelman. Joseph Alden Corona. Mallory Rebecca Kostroff. Lydia Kurganova. Cassandra J. Lamzik. Crawford Baskin Lewis. Derek T. Lundquist in absentia. Kelly McLuhan. Colin John Manchester. Jessica Mika Matsuda. Melissa Kimberly May. Kevin Grant McLernan. Shannon Kate McGrath. Eric Lowell Scott McLean II. Glennis Reeves McWilliams. Donald Christopher Messick. Natalia N. McKelly. Justin M. Moffitt. Ryan D. Moore. Francis Marunci. Laura Nicole Morris. Andrew Blake Nissenson. Justina Nzegu. Alicia Oxner Utt. Molly Ellen O'Connell. Bridget Ann O'Donohue. Anderson Walter Peak. Michelle Rose Pomerantz. Andrew Mark Pompa. Vincent William Pilkington Pryor. Ann Ellington Rogers. Louis Oliver Cruz Rogers. Samuel D. Romano. Brenna M. Rosen. Alex Rowan. Leiden Marie Ruxtalis. Ethan Ezra Savage in absentia. Anna Catherine Sherman. Frank M. Smith. Nicholas Joseph Smith. Stats Connolly Smith. Jinsu Sohn. Lillian M. Spell. Catherine Elizabeth Spencer. Kellen Elizabeth Spradlin. Robert Miles Stahl V. Eric Hinyanduk Suh. Sierra Tirana. Mary Elizabeth Smith Vaughn. Peyton Wallace. Brian T. Warren. Alexis N. Weber. Robert McCullum White. Tanner J. Williams in absentia. Angela Yip. Benny Yoon in absentia. John Philip Yurko. Ashley Marie Zimmerman. Zachary Ben Zimmerman. Please join me in congratulating the class of 2023.
It's my great honor now to introduce our distinguished commencement speaker, the Honorable Cleo E. Powell, Justice of the Supreme Court of Virginia. Justice Powell has been a trailblazer throughout her entire career, having been the first Black woman elected to the Commonwealth's highest court in 2011, and the first Black woman to serve at every level of Virginia's state court system. Born in Brunswick County, Virginia, Justice Powell received her undergraduate degree with distinction from the University of Virginia and her law degree from the University of Virginia School of Law. She began her legal career as a labor and employment lawyer associate at Hunton & Williams in Richmond, and later worked in the State Attorney General's office and for Virginia Power. In 1993, Justice Powell joined the 12th Judicial Circuit, where she served as a general district and circuit judge in Chesterfield County. She was named to the Virginia Court of Appeals in 2008 and then was elected by the Virginia legislature to the Supreme Court in 2011. In addition to her judicial duties, Justice Powell chairs the Judicial Performance Evaluation Committee and serves on the Executive Committee of the Judicial Conference of Virginia. She is also a leader of the Rule of Law Day, an annual program that educates middle and high school students about rule of law principles and the operations of state government. Justice Powell is the recipient of numerous awards and honors, including the Library of Virginia's Virginia Women in History in 2013, the Virginia Women Attorneys Association's 2010 Leader in Diversity, and Virginia Lawyers Weekly's 2010 Influential Women of Virginia. She was also named the YWCA Outstanding Woman of the Year in 2001. Perhaps best of all, though, Justice Powell is a familiar face at and cherished friend of W&L Law, having presented the annual Leslie Devon Smith Jr. Lecture in February of 2022 and judged our prestigious Davis Moot Court competition earlier this year. We are thrilled to have her back with us today as our 2023 commencement speaker. Please help me welcome the Honorable Cleo E. Powell of the Supreme Court of Virginia.
Good morning. Thank you for that kind introduction, Dean Wilson, President Dudley, Provost Hill, other members of the platform. Thank you and good morning. Congratulations, Washington and Lee graduating law school class of 2023. Thank you for allowing me to share this day with you. Few things give me as much pleasure as watching new lawyers join the profession that has brought me so much satisfaction for the past 41 years. Today is your day, a culmination of 3 long years of studying, learning, and growing. And here you are on the verge of launching out into the deep on what I hope will be the most rewarding years of your life. And while today is all about you, mostly about you, I want to echo what Dean Wilson said when she said to you that no man or woman who arrives at a place of achievement or success gets there all by him or herself. No one gets there without those who are supporting them and who are striving along with them. And you know that there are your professors who have poured much into you. Your administration who kept the classes going even in the midst of the difficulty that was COVID. But again, as Dean Wilson acknowledged, there are those folks who are most close to you, your parents, your husbands, your wives, your significant others, your children. And while today is all about you, because I do have the podium, I'm going to ask you to just stand for a moment and let's applaud those people who helped you to get to this moment in time. Thank you. Thank you so much. So as I just said, today is mostly about you, and I want you to enjoy every moment of it. But your legal career, that place into which you're about to enter, should be all about her. And who is she? She is Lady Justice, the symbol of all that you have strived for, the symbol that should be your North Star from this day forward. You are about to enter what is a most noble profession, and that is the practice of law. And so from this day forward, your sole pursuit should be justice and justice alone. And you should do so in homage to your beloved law school, whose sole mission has been to cultivate broad-minded, highly skilled, and honorable practitioners of the law. Those are the words from your website, and during the times that I have been fortunate enough to be here with you and to encounter you, it has been clear to me that your school has done exactly that. One of the hallmarks of W&L is turning out lawyers who are exceptionally prepared for the future. And while I do not want to be the bearer of unsettling news, I predict that you will need every tool that you have gained here at Washington and Lee, every tool that they have placed in your quiver. If this was a movie set, we would see dark clouds gathering on the horizon. You're entering the legal arena at a time when there are so many competing narratives, so many competing voices, so much noise, so many ideas around which to unite and or against which to fight back. A time when every emotion seems intensified: fear, intolerance, incivility. A time of increased violence, homelessness, and poverty. I have been practicing law now for 41 years, and the levels and intensity of emotions seem markedly different from anything I have seen before. We are living in tumultuous times. America is at a tipping point, and the predominant question is, where do we go from here? In a time marked by an inability to communicate and a growing lack of tolerance, some view this as a time of despair. I'm often asked about my vantage point from the judiciary as to what I think about the times in which we're living. And my answer is always the same. I continue to view it as a time of hope. Indeed, I am very hopeful. And why am I hopeful? I'm hopeful because of you. Today, you're graduating, and all across the United States, young, legally trained individuals with diverse backgrounds, diverse ideas, dreams, and hopes are preparing to enter the practice of law. I'm hopeful because here at W&L and all across America, law schools continue to turn out citizen lawyers who one day, hopefully very soon, will raise their right hand and swear to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Virginia, or whichever state you might find yourself in, to faithfully, honestly, professionally, and courteously demean, and that word demean means to humble yourselves in the practice of law and the exercise of attorney at law. And what makes me so very excited, what gives me so much hope, is that you and other law students across this great country will mean exactly that. And best of all, those law students and you, as have generations of lawyers before you, will live and honor your oath. So in a time when fear and anxiety and intolerance run rampant, wherever and whenever these emotions appear, and these emotions turn into actions, and individuals and communities clash. People like you, trained lawyers, will be there. And you have all of the tools, you have the knowledge, you have the temperament, you have the professionalism and the civility. And as lawyers, you will have access to masses of those people. And you will have the opportunity to use the tools that you have honed here at Washington and Lee to address their situations, to bring reason to bear. And you will have those opportunities because lawyers, more so than any other profession, will engage with almost every citizen at some point in that citizen's life, at every important juncture in a person's life, from birth to death. There is a lawyer drafting documents, drafting laws, interpreting laws, enforcing laws, defending against lawyers. At every meaningful stage, there is a law, and by necessity, a lawyer. The inscription above the Supreme Court is true. The Judicial Department does come home in its effects to every man's fireside. It passes on his property, his reputation, his life, his all. It begins with the Constitution, and it trickles down from there. The Constitution and every law, statute, ordinance, and rule flow from and impacts the life or the lives of every man. And as you deal with your client's issues, you will have an opportunity. No, you will have an obligation to lower the volume on the clamoring noise, to calm their fears, to reintroduce civility, and to bring reason to bear. Yes, I am hopeful because you are entering the practice of law at a wonderful time. For each generation of lawyers, there are new horizons and new challenges, new horizons to be faced. And for as much as stare decisis and precedent are time-honored principles that give our legal minds comfort, the law, once settled, has a way of developing a new wrinkle and becoming unsettled, disturbed anew, needing to be addressed with the challenges that newness brings. And a new generation of lawyers become engaged in looking at the future through a different lens. And your faithful and impartial discharge and performance of your duties will be instrumental in determining where we go from here. And although you look at the law through a new lens, you must still be grounded in bedrock principles. Your role, as has been generations of lawyers before you, is one of great responsibility: the protection of the Constitution, the very document on which democracy depends. Your interpretation of the Constitution and the laws that flow from it will have the potential to bestow upon you great power. And I say this not to make you arrogant, but I say this to humble you. Because your interpretation of the law should always flow from your role as a servant of the law and a servant of the people the law serves. You are the keepers and defenders of the ideal of the rule of law. By taking the oath and upholding it, lawyers are the ones, you are the ones, who will preserve the ideal of the rule of law, the very foundation on which a free, ordered, and just society rests. Yes, I have great reason for hope, because you as trained advocates are entering the legal arena, taking an oath to uphold the rule of law, obligating yourselves to teach it, to honor it, to live it. As I often do, and some of you have heard me, I quote my friend, retired Justice John Charles Thomas, the poetic justice. And he writes, "It has been given to some to handle the light, to mold it, to craft it, to bend it to right. my remix, we as lawyers hold light in our hands. The law is the light, and we're responsible to bend that light to right, to shine that light in dark places of fear, misunderstanding, inequality, injustice, and intolerance. You carry the light with you, a weighty responsibility, no doubt, but one which you must honor with courage, dignity, and civility. Have the courage as you launch out into the deep to use your considerable talents and gifts to make a difference in your corner of the world, to pursue justice, to ferret out injustice, and to demand that rights be honored and respected, because that is what the law and those who are true servants of the law are required to do. You have dedicated 3 years of your life to the study of law. I now challenge you to dedicate the rest of your life to the service of the ideal of the rule of law. I challenge you to shine light on injustices, because as Dr. King taught us, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. I challenge you to so live that in years to come, you will look back on your life and you will see your fingerprints all over a world left better because you were in it. Always remember that the law does not serve you. Rather, you are a servant of the law. Congratulations and best wishes to each of you in your practice of the law. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Justice Powell, for those really insightful and wise words. I now ask Anna Catherine Sherman, President of the third year class, and Wade Braden, Vice President of the third year class, to the podium for the presentation of the walking stick.
Good morning. On behalf of the class of 2023, we are honored and excited to continue the tradition of the W&L walking sticks by giving Justice Powell one of her own.
Thank you so much, AK. Thank you, Wade. Before I yield the floor to President Dudley to conclude our ceremony, there are two longtime professors who are retiring from W&L Law, and I want to recognize those. Jim Moliterno, who is retiring as the Vincent Bradford Professor of Law after 14 years of service and dedication, and Joan Shaughnessy, who is retiring as the Roger D. Group Professor of Law after 40 years of service. Please join me in a round of applause. Thank you. Woo! 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 I now recognize President Dudley, who will bring our ceremony to a close.
We now bring these exercises to their conclusion by expressing our gratitude to all those who've made this day possible. On behalf of the graduates, we thank the faculty who prepared you to begin your careers. We thank the alumni whose generosity has enhanced your education. We thank the university staff whose faithful performance of their duties has supported you in so many ways. And we thank, one more time, your families and friends who've made it possible for you to be here. In closing, I encourage our graduates to reflect upon what it means to enter the noble profession that is the practice of the law. Each of you has the opportunity to do good and important work. Make W&L proud. Come back often. You will always be warmly welcome in Lexington, and we will be eager to hear how your lives and careers unfold. I wish each of you the very best, and I hope you will join us for lunch on Cannon Green, prepared by our outstanding catering team. This concludes the commencement ceremony. We are adjourned.